Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity, and I am your host, Trinity. If this is your first time to the podcast, welcome. Thank you for joining. And on this podcast, I talk about issues that happen within the black community. I want to start off by saying I know it's been a few days, I've been away. I'm very glad to be back to join in and to talk about my topic that I want to bring to the table today. So, I was online and it was a black women and Asian men website. It had become unsuccessful, and there was a thread that started, and there were black men and black women, but in particular, black men bashing black women for joining the website. Now, there were some negative things going on the website. The administrator of the website had a very sketchy past with black women. So, some of the comments, were understood, but some of them were just flat out bashing black women for interracially dating, period. So, my topic of discussion for this podcast episode is let's stop the black women bashing. Okay, so um, I wanted to bring up my first point, and because I heard it online, a brother saying that black women who interracially date have self hate, especially towards black men. So, okay, there may be some black women that don't care for black men, and I beg to differ that all black women hate black men, you know, that interracially date. And on one other point, um, I don't know, me personally, I don't know about you, if there's any ladies watching, not watching, but, listening, but I usually don't hear black men being called black women bashing, when they flat out come out and say they don't deal with black women. They're not called haters of their own race. I rarely ever hear it. I don't know about you. But when a black woman, um, seeks to date outside of her race, she's a sellout. She hates her own race. She hates herself. But I don't hear black men being called these things. I just truly don't. So I don't think that every black woman has self hatred or hates black men just because they interracially date. And the thing is, brothers, if you feel like black women are really turning, you know, to other races because they may have a dislike for black men, I mean, it's the same thing. I give the same advice that black men have told black women. Maybe black men need to up their game in their respect and their protection strength when it comes to black women. Because I find black men are quick to tell black women, you know, they need to be more ladylike, and which may be true with some black women, and they need to up their game. Period, as women, if they don't want black men to venture and continue to venture outside of the black race as much as they have in the last 20 years. So I want to go on to the next point. Um, one black male on there had stated, black women being targeted by racist predators, um, which can be true. Um, it could be true for any women, any race of women. That when they date outside of their race, there may be a man that they date that may have inner hostility towards a race that the woman belongs to and seek out to abuse her just to wreak vengeance on that race of man. So, because the guy on there was saying about, you know, um, racist predators, seek out black women, want to abuse them and, damage them and maybe give them children on purpose not to take care of, and things of that nature. And it kind of ties me into another point. Um, if black men are so concerned about this, um, like I said, they should protect black women a little more than what they have been. And I'll always get that argument where there's one or two guys that or one of your family member knows that, hey, they'll protect black women, but on a wide mass range, there is a problem within our communities as far as the lack of protection on black women. Not only that, but we have a surge of black men that feel like there's no need for the black woman to be protected, as if they're saying, hey, you should protect yourself. And then it's kind of like a oxymoron, because with so many black men saying, hey, black woman, you should protect yourself, what do you mean? You're crazy. You talking about a black man should protect you. And then black men are wondering why they don't get any respect from black women. So it's just like a crazy domino effect. And it just seems like, black men, not all black men, but a lot of black brothers are only concerned about black women being abused and used for sex when it comes to a black woman dating another race of man. So that's the number one thing I've noticed that a lot of black men like to bring up. Like, for example, oh, if you date another race of man, white, Chinese, Asian, Arabian, oh, you're going to be used for sex. Oh, you're going to be physically assaulted, or you're going to be raped. But I don't hear black men being concerned about that when it comes to our race of men doing it to their own women. You don't hear anything about that. What a lot of black men like to do is say, oh, you're being bitter. So if a black woman mentions, oh, a group of black women would say something like, hey, I don't like the way a lot of black men are treating black women, the rape, the abuse, leaving a black woman as a single mother, the womanization, then it's called, oh, this black woman is being bitter. Okay? But on the flip side, once again, I hear a lot of black men will start talking about abuse and rape and being used for sex when it comes to black women dating other races of men. So I encourage black men not only to be concerned about those issues with black women dating other races of men, but also with your own men abusing black women. So with black men abusing black women, it needs to be the same level of concern. Okay, so I would like to move on. Um, also, there was one issue that came up about um, a black brother saying that, a lot of black women that interracially date are so self-hatred of their own black race that they want to just have biracial children, saying that the black woman was unattractive. So she was so unattractive that she wants to have a biracial baby just to wipe her ugliness away. So that sounds like something off of the movie Color Purple, right? When Mister told what's her name, Celie, that she needed to wipe some of that ugliness off, so and that was something that was kind of like some irony there, because this black brother is supposed to be on this thread talking about, how black women need to stop their self-hatred, but that was a self-hating comment within itself. To think that the only reason why a black woman would want to interracially date would be just to have, mixed children. Okay? Because the same thing can be said about a lot of black men now. There's a lot of black men that have interracial children. Okay? From the celebrities on down to just in your everyday neighborhoods. So is it safe to say that a lot of black men are having interracial babies because they think that they're ugly? That they think that their own image is ugly? That they think that black women are ugly and that their children will come out beautiful? So I think it should be fair 50-50 on both sides. So that's to say that not every black woman is just having children with other races of men just to wipe away their genetic genes. And another thing that this brother mentioned, another brother, because it was like, like hundreds of people, commenting. But, I'm scrolling through and I'm reading. He said something in regards to, she's worthless. This black woman who interracially mates with other men is worthless. Let her wash away her genes. But I have a news flash for the brothers out there. I mean, just as well as when you interracially mate with another race of woman, your black DNA is still there. Even though it's broken in half. It's the same with black women. We are still black women and we still have black children, even though they are biracial. We have the same DNA makeup, genetic makeup as the black man. So, if a black woman does mate with another race of man, it's still half black, just as well as your children would be half black as well. Interracially dating. And I know it's this saying out there that whoever the father is what determines the race of the child. I mean, whatever you choose to believe, I just think it should be fair across the board when we start talking about interracially dating and the bashing part, especially. Um, I also wanted to bring up, um, they were really talking about, just like I said, how black women were really hating, their race of men. And one thing I've also noticed too, whenever a black woman chooses to interracially date, you know, um, whenever she chooses to interracially date, it's always seen as bashing black men. Instead of, there's things that black men as a whole can get themselves together, and maybe it won't be so many black women interracially dating. And when black men seem to interracially date, it's deemed as them escaping the wildebeest, escaping the mean black woman. It's like whenever black men, you know, um, announce that they interracially date, or you see them, it's like they have escaped to a secret haven. When they leave black women, it's never called them self-hating themselves. It's never called, um, the black man must have been dogged out so bad by a black woman that he chose to be with a white woman, or an Asian woman. But whenever you see a black woman with another race of man, it's, oh, she must have got dogged out so much by the black man that she would interracially date. And the thing is, let's just say for argument's sake that this is true. There are a group and a percentage of black women who have been so mistreated by black men that they do choose to say, hey, I give up, that's it. No more black men for me. I personally don't think that's a time for black men to start gloating with ignorance, saying, oh, there's another one that's been dogged out by black men. It's like, that's a reflection on black men. To gloat and say, hey, she's been dogged out. Maybe that's time for the black man to sit back and say, I wonder why there are so many lesbian black women. I wonder why there are so many black women that choose to date interracially. Maybe there's something that we can do different as men. Okay, so like I said, once again, it's not time to gloat about the mistreatment of black women. It's time to maybe self-reflect and see how, as black men, you can make a change. Okay, so that you won't keep seeing so many lesbian black women, and you won't keep seeing so many black women that just have this look in their eye like they hate you. Okay, and I believe that, as a lot of men like to brag, God made man head, and if God made you head, that means you're a leader, and if you're a leader, that means team reflects leadership. So, however the team is acting and behaving, it has something to do with the reflection on the man. And, a lot of men would disagree with that. And as black men, as long as you keep disagreeing with these things, that's why our people are going to continue to be in the condition that they're in, because we don't have leadership. And if the men in our communities continue to fail at their leadership responsibilities, then we're going to stay in chaos. We're never going to be civilized as a people, and we're going to continue to wander around like in the wilderness for another 400 years, 40 years, whatever. Okay, so I want to say that pretty much wraps up this segment. Another thing I wanted to add, I pretty much added everything because I'm like, protect the black woman. If you don't want to see her go outside the race and all these type of things, protect her. Some self-reflection, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you all. If you have any questions, any suggestions, you can reach me at the truth with Trinity at gmail.com. Peace and blessings.